Let's wait for some people to join. I'm just waiting on it to pop up. Okay, awesome. Just waiting on it to pop. Alright, I'll just send you the link now.
I can feel my head spinning from all these lies. Trying to understand, but I still don't know why. You're moving on, baby.
Mark, you there?
Please.
Yeah.
Alright, sweet. Just making sure all good.
Say it again, feel so pretend. Got no option, I'm just laying in my bed. Damn, I'm feeling so low. Yeah, I'm smoking it all. I be feeling so alone. Now my vanity's gone, feeling miles from home. Got no one to call.
Are we ready?
What I see.
Wait for some people to join up.
Okay. You got music playing right now?
Yeah, it's fine.
Find somebody
Awesome.
that'll set you free. But my heart's too broken, I can't breathe. No. Starting to feel no emotion. Living the life feeling broken. Hurting when I sip a potion. Numbing the pain when I'm smoking. Yeah. Damn, I'm feeling
I don't
so
think we're good to
low.
start, Mark.
Yeah, I'm smoking it all. I be feeling so alone.
Tell me when you got the music off.
I'm feeling no. I can't.
Yo, 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 yo. What is happening?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to Hit It Where It Fucking Hurts. What episode is it? 2? 3?
Episode 3, episode 3 in the house.
Episode 3. First, I don't know if the first one counts, but we'll call it episode 3. So, today we're going to be talking on a topic, I think, something that has crossed everyone's mind before, right? And that is why the rich get richer and the poor get fucking poorer, okay? Now, this topic is obviously a bit touchy because, you know, you have like, in terms of governments and, you know, people being greedy, and that's why like the poor keep getting poorer. But this video and this podcast is focused around breaking excuses, right? So like, obviously there are good reasons why everything happens in this world, but there's also fucking excuses. There's also reasons why you're not where you want to be, and there's also reasons why people who have been in a downward spiral their whole life stay that way.
Exactly, and it's just, we've seen that a lot lately with the lockdown. A lot of people going poor, a lot of people losing their businesses. And as you can see, people like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, that guy did everyone dirty. Whoever is in crypto, as you can see, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. I don't want to get into that because that's a heated topic, and that really set everyone who's in crypto up. But yeah, it's that's how life is. But when you break out of that cycle and you move on and you start thinking like the rich, that's when you'll start getting rich like the rich. It's more about getting richer in the brain. So when you develop, yeah, go on. I know you have something.
Oh, bro, like, you hit it, man. Like, the topic, rich get richer, poor get poorer, people instantly think about money. But I'm sure there's someone on the side of the street living with nothing who feels like they're richer than, you know, someone in a mansion. You know what I mean? And I think that really comes down to what you define rich and what you define poor as, right? Like,
Yeah.
for me right now, man, I'm living my best life. I feel like a fucking millionaire, honestly, like, straight up. Like, I feel like a straight out millionaire because I have everything in my life, man.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I was gonna say I want to say it like that, like when we locked out all that. Yeah, but you're right, bro. Like sometimes we gotta be grateful for what we have. Like there's other
That's right.
people who are literally on the streets. They're homeless. They have no roof over their heads, and they're trying to like survive day by day. And
You know what?
yeah, what is it?
Yeah, like we talk about like the poorer like and the poorest, right? But then like if you look at the richer and the richest, like people have similar reactions to both, right? Like you see someone on the side of the street struggling to survive, you're like, wow, like I feel so sorry for them, you know. And then you see someone like Jay-Z, right? Like who has like 800 million net worth to his name, right? And then you have like a similar reaction, but in a different way. Like, wow, like how did they get so much money, right?
Yeah.
And today's focus isn't going to be on the poor getting poorer, but today's focus is going to be on the rich getting richer, because I feel like that transition from being poor is all just a mindset. You know what I mean? And of course, there's like exceptions to that, but I think it's just a mindset of how poor you are in your head and how rich you are in reality. You know what I mean?
There,
So, yeah, go for it.
there's a book. We're talking about mindset. I didn't want to like cut you off, but there's a book called
No.
Mindset, and that book goes into the psychology about how the human brain is formed and what goes around it when we're going through things. And when we're like, say, like we're starting a new business, for example, it talks to you about how the brain works in ways to like gets you into that habit of going and achieving your goals and stuff. And
That's right.
I'm just recommending that book to anyone who wants to read it. But yeah,
And yeah, like bro, like just on that point, like our brain is built for comfortability. We're always meant to be comfortable. No one wants to take that step to get out of like. There's so many people and like so many like I'm talking like millions who
Yeah,
feel like
wow.
they're in generational poverty, right?
Yeah.
Generational poverty, where like they're through generations, right? They've all lived like they've been in the same struggle their whole life. And whenever someone makes it, they say they want to break that chain, right? Like humans are creatures of habit, creatures of routine, right? If we're constantly living the same way every single day and you've been struggling your whole life and you haven't made any big changes, then that's why the poor will keep getting poorer and the rich are going to keep getting richer, because the rich have changed their habits and routines and the poor haven't changed their habits and routines, and that's just how it is.
and
You know what I mean?
and let's put it like, look at it this way, right? The rich at one point of life, they were where you are right now, but they changed their habits. They stopped being comfortable. They started working hard and working smart towards what they thought could be better for them. And that's how they became rich. And on the topic of the rich getting richer, they're still working hard. They're still going on. They're not, like, when we talk about, like, the rich getting richer, right? We look at it from a negative perspective, but we shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because, all right, let's use this, right? Let's use a scenario right here.
Mhm.
Say, Mark, you're a multi-millionaire, yeah?
Right.
What would you do? Would you just sit around and do like jack shit all day, or would you start investing your money so your money works for you? Because that's what they do. Like, they invest. When you have more than one stream of income coming in, right? That's how you get rich, bro. It's just takes investing and work.
And I think supporting like don't get me wrong, right? Like when I say the poor get poorer, I don't mean like we're talking about people who have been impoverished because of government and because of people's greed and shit like that, right? Like,
We're
not
talking about the people that invested in crypto. No, I'm joking.
Yeah,
Okay.
those are the people. We're talking about the people that invested in Bitcoin and then
Hey,
Elon Musk spoke
hey,
about it and they
my
all went broke.
my profits are going up, but it's coming back. It's coming up.
That's
Hodl.
But,
Yeah.
but yeah, like there's serious topics to talk about in terms of greed and how, you know, the world was made to be evenly shared by everyone, but because of greed, because of governments, and because of everything, the world's not evenly made. But there are people who could break out of that, and this is not everyone. There are people that could break out of this poverty cycle that they're in right now. You know what I mean? And I feel like the idea that you can't just comes from within your head, because you've been so comfortable being poor your whole life, or you've been so comfortable being unsuccessful, unhappy, that you don't want to make that step to kind of break into that, right? And in terms of the rich getting richer, the thing is, right, like when I used to look at numbers, like I said, Jay-Z, 800 million, you know, Eminem, 250, like these numbers, they feel unimaginable, right? But then now running a business, understanding supply and demand and all that, right? Like, I think it's crazy to me that we can't see why this money is there. The reason this money is there is because the value they provide cannot actually have a money value to it. It's that fucking good. Like, how many times have you listened to Jay-Z's album? How many times have you listened to Eminem's album? How many times have you utilized Elon Musk or Bill Gates or, you know, all these people who made things that can continuously be used. You know what I mean? So, like, that's why businesses, like our business, that's why we're not valued at $1 million yet. Because the value we provide hasn't been, like, it's not at that point where people are using it every single day and we're struggling to put a number to it. You know what I mean? Like, but that's where we're aiming for, right?
Yeah.
So that's why the rich get richer, because just because they made a product 50 years ago, it's still being used to today, man. Look around you. Fucking tables. The owner of the table. Imagine how rich the guy is,
Yeah.
you know? The person who invented the idea of tables.
Rohit here said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Just to touch on with that, if that's not about crypto and if it's about like business and stuff, you should really be putting all your eggs into that basket that you're chasing. Because if you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4 things and you're allocating time to each of these things, right? Then you're not putting all your time into it. Like, look at the greats of the world, right? Say, for example, like we'll use Elon Musk for example because we've used him. He started PayPal, right? He started PayPal with his brother. He put all his time and efforts into that, and see, he made it work. What's another example you got? There was one that I was thinking of. I forgot it.
Like, you know, the thing is, sometimes, like, yeah, you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket, but sometimes I think when you believe and when you have that passion and that commitment and nothing else drives you more than that one thing, I think it's fine to put your eggs in one basket. You know what I mean? But everyone's different. Like, for me, man, every day I wake up with another business idea I want to execute. I don't know about anyone else. Like, once you get in that realm, bro, you know what I mean? Like one day we're a social media agency. One day we want to start a prank channel. One day, like, man, because the idea of social media and kind of like the media industry is unimaginably big, right? And like the way it all connects, it's crazy. And that's like another reason the rich get richer, right? Like, once you make that first step into like that puddle of uncertainty, right? Then that step doesn't become so hard when you want to keep going, right? Like, talk about Manny Khoshbin, bro. Yeah?
Yeah.
Started off in real estate, right? Like, made heaps of money off real estate. We're talking millions.
Yeah.
Now he's making money off cars. Because he knows that that risk is what got him to where he is now. So, it's all about changing the way your brain thinks.
And
you know what I mean?
Also, one thing that the people don't talk about, right? When they look at the rich, they look at, oh, he's rich, he's lucky. But they don't talk about what got them there. Like Manny Khoshbin, right?
Yeah.
He worked 7 years non-stop, business to business to business to business, and they all failed until he sold his fruit and veggie shop and put all his money into a real estate, into a building that he then went and like fixed it up and shit, and then sold it. And from there he kept going. That's how it is, man. Like, it takes time and effort to make things work, and a failure after failure to get at something that is successful. And it's not gonna be easy. It's never easy. And Mark, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and on that point, man, like, we don't even speak about like Manny's losses, man. Like, he ran a fruit store, right? One of the best fruit stores in New York, and I think he was committing tax fraud or something like that, right? And he was 50K in debt when he left that business. 50K in debt. He had to default on the mortgage for the place that he was on. He had to unregister every single employee. Imagine that. You'd be blackballed, man. Where do you get your reputation from? You just screwed over a whole industry, right? All your suppliers, everyone that was relying on you. And he made a breakout from that point to where he is now, right? And if you guys don't know who Manny Khoshbin is, he's one of the most famous real estate agents in the world. He has
not a real estate agent, real estate investor.
Real estate investor.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. But what's it called? Like, it's crazy. So the thing is, it's all about the bounce back. It's all about the routine. All I know with my life and all I know in what I learned from business is that humans are from habits and routine. That's all we are, man. Yeah. That's all we are. The minute you change your habit and your routine, you change the life around you. You can never, ever, ever, ever expect things to change if you don't change them yourself. You know what I mean?
And talking about change and stuff like that, you also meant talking about you got to stop thinking about the money and thinking about the process to make it.
Exactly right.
Mel here said that it's like an addiction. Money becomes addictive. The results and the risks become addictive.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's the truth. That's the thing, because they've how do you go 7 years, right? Like, I know some businesses who have gone 7 fucking years, and they haven't broke out of that middle ground yet, but because their drive was their passion, right? What they were doing was their passion, they just kept going, because their money was making content. And like, for me, I'm not at that point yet. I can't say that yet, honestly. Like, I can't say money isn't the first thing that comes to my mind when I start going through, like, you know, business and stuff like that, right? Because it's hard to kind of understand what else brings you value other than money. It's very hard, because your whole life you're taught that you need money to survive, right? Like, you need money to be worth something, you need money to do this, you need money to do that, but it's really not like that. And most of the people who don't read Karam's comment, most of the people who like have that mindset, they fall off, right? No one went into business thinking I'm gonna make $1 million on my first day. No one went into business thinking they were gonna make $1 million on their second day. They thought, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and because I know I'm good at it, I'm gonna ace it. You know what I mean?
I can't stop laughing. I keep looking at Karam's. And we all want chocolate, man, but we're on a diet.
Yeah, literally, we're all dieting here.
What's his name? Rohit said investing in yourself and investing for money is different, and that's correct.
That's 100% correct.
You gotta take time and invest in yourself, even if it costs a lot of money. You gotta do it because, what do you call it? Because what you're doing it for is you're doing it for yourself. Because you're not gonna become rich, you're not gonna become famous, you're not gonna become anything if you're not putting the time and money into yourself and training yourself to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and at a basic level, man, like, the rule is that if you don't invest money, you never make money, right? Like, you could start off a business worth $200, it's gonna be worth $200 forever until you do something about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let's use this as an example, right?
Nothing's
like,
free. Nothing is free.
Yeah, like, let's use this as an example, right? Like, right now, we don't have the best quality for our content, right? Because we're just starting off. Like, I have a ring light hanging from the roof on my monitor, you know what I mean? So, like, we like obviously over time we're gonna invest into this and make a better, like, you know, a better production system, better quality, and that's what, you know, that's what business is all about. It's about reinvesting into it and putting your eggs in the basket that you believe that, you know, this investment will pay off, you know. And on that note, that's why the poor get poorer, because they already are at that level where I told you, like, they're a $200 worth business, right? And they're not investing to kind of make it better. They're not looking at their comments. Man, after this podcast, I literally message everyone who watches it and I ask them, like, what can we improve, right? Because I'm actually love hearing what was better. Like, for example, from the last episode, people said, Mark, your mic was so fucking quiet, no one could hear you. You know what I mean? And, like, now we tried to fix that. But, like, it's the little things, right? Like, the people, you have to ask the people that care. So, got them in the comments.
Karam, it's alright. We'll tell what's his name? We'll tell Elon Musk to give your money back.
Literally, yeah. And for the YouTube viewers, we have comments on Facebook as well, so we're kind of cycling through both comments. But yeah, anyways, but yeah, so I think one of the main points that we want to get through in this podcast is that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer is a theme based around money, but not everything that has value is about money, you know? You could be rich and you could be living a normal life, right? Like, just because we speak about entrepreneurship,
like,
yeah.
It's not also all about money, it's about the mind as well. Because if you're rich in the mind, right?
Yeah.
You can go a long way with that. But if you're poor in mind, then you're not gonna go anywhere and you're gonna stay where you are.
That's right. And, like, bro, think of, like, all the people living in their mansions right now that are, like, still depressed because, I don't know, like, some fucked up shit happened in their life. You know what I mean? Like, their family passed away or something like that, right? Like, those things aren't fixable with money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, the term the richer get richer and the poor get poorer make this social constraint on everyone within this category and everyone within this category. That people in this category will keep going up and people in this category will keep going down. But it's not really like that, because why the fuck are we letting a quote determine what category we're in? You know what I mean? Mark, cut out.
Well, no, I'm here. I was just looking at the comments. Yeah, Karam wants to be famous. We can't help you with that. Maybe in the future.
We have to ignore Karam. We literally have to ignore him.
So Vanessa is like, it's very true. Many of us have ambitions. If we work hard, we can make it happen, and that's really, really, really true. Like
That's it.
everyone that has made it has taken it upon themselves to make it. They've gone and worked hard, like harder than anyone you would know, to make it. Because it doesn't come like up, like you don't go work for something the next day you expect to get results. It doesn't work like that. Like let's use gym for example, right?
Right.
A lot of people want to get big and ripped after one day, 1 week of going to the gym, but that's just not gonna happen. Like that's not gonna happen. You gotta put in the hard work. You gotta put in the perseverance. You gotta have patience, and that's how you get to where you want to be.
That's it. And, you know, I just pinned Vanessa's comment. She said, because it was one of the best comments. I hate how some just get given things on a platter. They don't work for anything. Then during the lockdown, they say they are depressed. That's like the poor get poorer mindset, right? That like they're already broken, fucked up, right? And then they go through a lockdown and then they blame that lockdown. And that's just the mindset, man. That's what everyone does. When I fall over, bro, I start looking at the table, right? Start looking at the table. And I'm like, bro, well, who fucking put that table there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no one wants to blame themselves. No one wants to be self-awareness. No one wants to be self-accountable. And that's fine. Like, the only thing is that eventually one day in your life, you're going to come to realize that all of your problems, the reason you are where you are is because of you. And the reason the rich are the rich is because they worked for it. Like, of course, there's exceptions. There's exceptions to everything, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, and also that's why, like they say, money doesn't always bring you happiness. Like right now, I'm probably happier than someone out there who's living in a mansion with Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and all that shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, go on.
No, sorry. Yeah, just continue. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
and
Fuck. Yeah, and
sorry, you go.
yeah, no, it's like that, bro. And Rohit here is true. Like what he said is right as well. He's talking about how our generation is afraid to fail. And honestly, that is like point on. You know why? Because I've been there. Time after time. And Mark, we've been there ourselves. Remember when we
100%.
started Shisha at Your Door? Everyone told us that it's not going to work. We were hesitant to start. But then we were like, you know what? Fuck it, we're going to do it. We started and it boomed, right? So
Yeah, and like
you gotta be happy. You gotta be happy to fail, not afraid to fail. Because every failure that comes in your way, you know you're closer to your goal and your dream. Because if you stand up after that failure and become better and work harder and know within yourself that you're gonna make it, then you're rich in mind.
That's right. And
Yeah.
I think I just want to point out Melissa's question as well. She said, "What about if you're rich in soul and poor in mind? Does that work?" That's actually a really good question, and I think you can't be poor in mind in this life. You really can't. Even when you're rich, you still can't be poor in your mind. You have to kind of utilize your mind as an asset. Like, to me, you know how people are scared to take days off to earn money, right? Because like they're scared of the money they're gonna lose. They're scared of losing their job. Like your mind, bro, is that cut off. Your mind is your asset, right? Like you need to take time. Just like when we go to the gym, right, and we take a day off to relax our body, we need to take time for ourselves, bro. We need to take time to kind of decipher what's going on in our head and whether we are where we want to be mentally. And you know, like, I think being rich in soul would probably mean like being religious, being content, you know, having compassion, having empathy. But I think being rich in mind is a lot different. You know what I mean? And I definitely think you can't. I definitely think it doesn't work like that. I think you need to be rich in both.
100%. I agree with that. Because I was gonna say, if you're not rich in mind, then what does that mean? Like, because I got it, but I half got it, right?
Right. Well,
Like-
rich in mind is like that. You know.
I know what it means to be rich in mind, but like rich in soul, it's like
Rich in soul, I'd say, is like when you're content with your religion or you're content with like your existence, right? You know why you exist. I think to have a purpose in life is to be rich in your soul, but to be poor in your mind is not to be. When I'm poor in my mind, I'm depressed in bed, not knowing what I want to do that day. You know what I mean? That's when I'm poor in my mind.
Yeah.
When I'm rich in my mind is when I'm executing. I think every single point where you're not executing in your life, and like this is a pretty like term, but I use it against myself. Every single moment you're not executing, you're not utilizing your assets, right?
Ooh.
Like people want to say, oh, like, you know, we want to re-renovate this house because it's our asset and we want to make more money off it when we sell it. But what about your mind, man? What about your ambitions, your passions? You know what I mean? Those are all assets. Just because they're not tangible doesn't mean they're not important, right?
I like that. I like that. I like how you put
Yeah.
all that together. Yeah.
Thank you. And yeah, so like, I think this rich get richer, poor get poorer has made all these small business owners feel like they've been in this position for a little bit and they're just stuck there now. But it's really not like that. But let me ask you a question, Mark.
Yo.
When Gary Vee says, right, like, you know, how is it to cry in your Ferrari against crying in a Camry? What does that actually say to you?
What does it say to me? But
Yeah,
if I'm
but,
crying in my Ferrari, I'd be so happy, bro.
Yeah, but like,
You know what I
don't you
mean?
feel like
Like,
it's the same crying, right?
nah. Okay, it's the same crying, but you're crying in like you're crying while flexing at the same time. It's a flex cry, bro. But he's
But I
right.
feel
He's
like-
right. Because what he really means about that is being unhappy. So
That's right.
with that, like if you're unhappy with money and without money, you're in the same boat. It's like it's Grant Cardone, right?
Yeah,
He
yeah.
he. All right, let me do what he did. All right. If I gave you $1 million right now, would you be happy?
That's a hard one.
No, it's a simple question. No, like with like
Yes.
you'd be
yes,
happy, right?
I
You'd be
would-
happy.
I would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if I gave you $1 million, yeah,
Yeah.
but you couldn't wake up anymore, would you be happy?
No. Well, I can't. I can't be happy. I'm dead, bro.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
No, but I see what you.
You know what I
mean.
mean?
see what you
Yeah.
mean. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
And-
what he meant is wake up every day like you've won more than $1 million. See that?
That's
Because
So-
if you're not taking that $1 million and not waking up, that means your life is worth more. So
That's
when you wake up every morning, you're $1 million, and you know what? Even if you fail that day, you're still $1 million because you've waken up, and you can continue on grinding and grinding. And even if you fail 1,000 times, that 1,001 is what's gonna count. Because
yeah.
with Bill Gates, is it? Yeah, Bill Gates made Microsoft, right?
Right.
Yeah. When he was making the coding for Microsoft, he failed 800 and something times, right?
Wow. Yeah.
But on that 800 and something, he kept going even after that. That's the one that made it, and look where he is now, multi-billionaire.
That's it. And I swear, Mel literally just broke into like what I wanted to get into. She said, "At least you'll be buried in $1 million coffin." Brother, who cares what I get buried in? We're both like me getting buried and Bill Gates getting buried is the exact same thing. We leave everything here. Yeah, you leave everything here except your deeds, right? But like, and on this topic, and I think like it's so important that like people are so afraid of death. Like, people are in this idea that fear. And like, what did Rohit say? Rohit said, like, I feel like our generation is afraid to fail. It's so true.
Yeah.
Like, fail and fear, right?
Mm.
It's like these two things are meant to be motivators. They're not meant to be decliners, right? Like, for example, and this was like a really good example because I remember like
Yeah.
when you used to do like athletics at at school. If you came 5th or 6th, bro, you'd still get a medal for participating, right? Because we've gone into like this part in society where people are so afraid to admit failure or to admit, to admit that going through hard shit is not good. But it is. It is.
And
That's a part of the journey.
and you know,
And yeah,
yeah, sorry, yeah, you know, like you're saying, you know, what's the problem with that? It's because we're taught from a young age that we cannot fail. Because every sport that we play from a young age, right, from like grade 1. You always get a participation trophy, even when you lose.
100%.
So that shows they instill in your mind that you have still won even after you've lost, which is completely wrong. Like that's like, you know what I mean? Like I want my kid to like go through failure when he's a like kid, you know. I want him to know what the difference is between winning and failing, because I want him to have that winning mindset in life.
100%. And like I think honestly this is where it starts, right? It's that fear of death, right? Like that fear that you're gonna die without achieving, right? And for me, like people get scared, like where Corona is right now, yeah. Like people are taking the vaccine, they're staying home. Like I'm not telling anyone not to do that, but it's because they're afraid for their life, right? They don't want to die. For me, I see death like my motivator, man. Like the fact that I could die tomorrow motivates me to do everything I want to do today and like just keep going like that, right? And not everyone's like that. Some people say like, why would you be thinking like that? But for me, that's my motivator, man. You know, because every single failure I've ever gone through has shown me what it means to succeed. Because when you push through those failures, it's the things that you learn from them that turns into success. I honestly, and I strongly believe this, that failure is a part of success as opposed to the opposite of success. You know what I mean? I think success is happiness. I don't think it's succeeding, if that makes sense, right? Like I think you're successful when you're happy. Whereas when you're looking at it as failure to success, that means like, you know, like I'll just give an example. Like you could be giving like a brand deal, right? You could be giving a brand deal and it probably didn't work out that well, but the content was really good, but you posted it at the wrong time, right? And because you felt like it was a failure, you're not going to do that brand deal again, right? But if you repeat that brand deal at a different time, bro, who knows what would have happened, but you wouldn't know because you've put in your head that that's a failure and not a part of your success. You feel me?
I feel you. Karam's like, what doesn't kill you makes you wronger.
Wronger.
Wronger, that's true.
But yeah, like just to wrap up, like man, we tried to make this an organized podcast. It was not organized at all. That's how me and Mark are. We just go back and forth about shit. But like the number one thing is I want everyone to remove this idea, unless you're talking about, you know, saving poverty and stuff like that. The rich getting richer and the poor get poorer, right? That idea is just a social constraint on your mind. Remove that shit from your fucking head, okay? Stop thinking about every single stat in your fucking life when you're trying to do something. Just because the only 1% right now, just because you're a part of the 1%, right? It doesn't mean that, you know, that 1% is secluded to these people who have made things that you aren't able to do. That's just where you are right now in life, man. That's just where you are. Doesn't mean that you're not gonna get there, right? And, you know, the second thing I want to point out is that we're mammals, right? Like, at the end of the day, we're like animals of habit and routine. Think about, like, your coffee shop, bro. Think about how often you delay your studies. Think about everything you do in your life. You do it because you're used to it and it's comfortable, right? And the 1% and the people who succeed the most are the people who I like to call as inhuman, right? Because they break those psychological barriers in their head.
They're beasts.
You feel me?
Straight
up, they're beasts. They're literally beasts, right? Like they have broken this idea of comfortability. They're happy to be in a point where they're struggling for a little bit before success at the end, right?
Yeah, 100%, bro. Like you gotta fall in love with the process. Like if it's not the process, then what are you doing? Like Rohit here has a good point. Says the process of successfully making $1 million is happiness, whereas you getting handed 1 million doesn't feel as good. Not gonna lie, like if I get handed $1 million right now, it'll feel good, but like it wouldn't.
Bro,
Like.
Let me cut you out. Let me cut you out.
Yeah.
Would you still do this podcast if you got handed $1 million? Come on, bro.
I just got handed $1 million, bro. Take it.
Come on, man. Like come on, bro. It's $1 million.
No. Of course, I'll be doing this, bro. Like.
He's out, bro. He's good.
I'm good. No. I'll be doing this because you know what that means. That $1 million. Yeah. You invest that shit, bro.
Yeah, and like, you know, I think Rahith made two really good comments that life is meaningless without death, and strongly believe it. Like, life wouldn't mean anything unless you knew that you were gonna die, right? Because then, like, if we live forever, what's the fucking point, bro? We got forever, right? If everyone lived forever, honestly, I'd be sleeping. I honestly think I'd be sleeping. I just feel like that. Like, wouldn't you? Like, if we lived forever, bro, I'd be sleeping. Like, it's like, what are we in a rush for, bro? We're chilling.
You know, even now, like, I've seen, like, studies, we end up sleeping 1/3 of our lives. Like, how weird is that? Yeah. Like, we sleep, that's insane, bro.
But that's for normal people. I stay up till 3 a.m., bro. I sleep 1/7 of my life.
Yeah, I see that. And the thing is, right, if you want to, like, go hard and if you want to make it, like, we're talking about sleep, so let's just get this out of the way. You can't be comfortable. You can't be sleeping 8 hours. but you gotta be sleeping like 4, 5, 6 hours max.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I was watching a video, right, and this guy
Right.
literally said, if you're working a 9 to 5, yeah,
Mm.
and you're not after the 9 to 5, yeah, if you're
Yeah.
not sleeping at 12 and waking up at 4 a.m. and then from 4 to 8 you're grinding, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
then you're not doing it right because there's other people doing that who are gonna make it and you're not. So that hits like crazy when you hear that stuff, bro. Because when you hear that
That's it.
stuff, you're like, fuck. Like as much as I'm working hard, I'm still feeling comfortable where I am. Like I gotta break
That-
out of that, and that's
That's
and
right.
that's what I fight with every day, breaking out of my habits. So if I'm watching like a Netflix show, I try not to do that. If I'm like if I'm wasting time on something, I try not to do that. And you see me like you saw me get you saw me get off my phone for 3 days straight.
Right. Right.
And when I did that, that opened up a whole new world to me. Like I was like, bro, I was like a lion eyeing a gazelle cat. I was that
Right.
focused, bro. I was that focused on success. I was like going
Yeah.
hard and stuff, and I got so
Yeah.
much things done. So that's what you gotta do. You gotta just grind it out, honestly.
Look, I think one
Yeah.
of the most important things is that, you know, people um people worry about the value that they put to their business, and this is like straight business advice, right? I don't care if I get in
Yeah.
trouble for this, but if you fucking undervaluing yourself, you're undervaluing your time, right? Like for me, I charge accordingly based on fucking time, man, because at the end of the day, when I'm sitting here on the podcast, right? On the end of the day, when I'm sitting here on the podcast, providing value to people, stop laughing at Kalam's comments. When I'm sitting here on the past podcast speaking to people, that's time I'm not with my family, right? That's time I'm not grinding towards my uni, right? So everything has value, right? Stop undervaluing yourself. Like that's how the poor keep getting poorer, right? That's what
100%.
happens
Yeah.
because they feel like they have nothing around them. Like
Mhm.
honestly, like think about the artists, man, on the side of the street who, but man, their paintings are amazing. They have so much value and they're selling them for like $1 because they're desperate at that point, right? And like that's obviously like a bit of a serious example. Like they probably need the money to survive and all that. But like taking away that aspect of it, it's it's so important. It's so fucking important that you understand how to value yourself based on your time, based on your experience. And man, think about it. Life's
Yeah.
changed from academics, certificates, all that bullshit into experience. People care about what you've experienced, right?
Yeah.
People like you still need a PhD to become a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. But like Gary Vee, and bro, I use this example too much. People are sick of
It's
hearing
too good, bro. It's too good.
it's
He's
too
a
good.
freaking doctor, cuz I'm telling you.
He literally is. And like, but the thing is with him is that when he goes into like interviews,
Mm.
whenever he sees Harvard as the interview, like Harvard's like one of the best unis in the world, right? Puts Harvard on the resume. He like puts into his mind that if this character bases everything off Harvard, right? Then he knows that he doesn't have that much value because you've put all your money into this one certificate that is not even, it has nothing to do with you. You just followed a set mindset, like a set guidelines, right? Just like how we got our Year 12 ATAR, bro. We're just being compared to other people. It doesn't tell you anything about you or who you are, what value you have, what passion you have, nothing.
100%.
Right?
100%.
And yeah, so like it's all the mindset.
Mm.
Like I said, the most valuable mindset in this world is your mind and your soul, like Mel mentioned. Let's take some questions.
Yeah, I want to hear some questions. Man.
I want to hear some questions. Put your questions in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And I'm just reading some text messages right now, so just give me a sec.
The ATAR system. That's honestly so right. The ATAR system is so flawed and rigged. Like there are so many people that they drop out of high school, right, and uni,
Yeah.
and look
yeah.
where they end up, bro. They become the most like successful people in this world, and we've seen it happen with a lot of people.
Literally.
Mm.
And like just on that topic, right? Because people say we never link it back to what we started talking about. So
Yeah.
let's link this back a
Yeah.
little bit, right? Like the reason this ATAR system and the reason I talk about school this way is because in school money isn't an issue right there, right? Like you're not gonna get paid for submitting your assignment, right? Which is good. That's the good part of it. That you get value out of executing on content, right? Which is what we're doing right now. Like, we get value out of helping other people, speaking about our experience. So it's good in that way. But then when the ratings come in and the rankings, bro, you're taught that that's like your value, right? So let's say you go through your whole life failing school, right? You can't get into university. You're gonna have a poor mindset,
100%.
right? How are you gonna make a breakthrough monetary, mentally, in any way? How are you gonna make any type of breakthrough if your whole life you're taught that you're just a rating? You know what I mean? And
yeah.
yeah,
I don't want to talk like I don't want to like say schools are bad and stuff. Like don't get me wrong, they're good. No, like the thing that they don't teach is what we're talking about right now. Like how to have a richer mindset. They don't talk about anything like they don't talk about having a good mindset. They don't talk about life goals. They don't talk about anything like that.
That's
They
right.
just,
And like,
it's like you're in a game, bro. It's like you know how there's like what do you call it? It's like a FIFA game, bro. You're basically doing the same shit. Like you're trying to score a goal, right? It's like you're trying to get 100% on a maths test.
that's right.
The system hasn't changed for years, and like we don't want to get off topic, but yeah, like it needs to change ASAP, honestly.
And it needs to change. Like, but the thing is, that's why I hate school. And like, I'll openly say, I honestly don't give a fuck. University is fine. If you want to take that path in your life, go for it. But school, to me, the fact like you can look around you right now and everything has changed. Your housing, your furniture, and everything. But you still go to your school, right? And you have like desks and everyone's listening to the teacher like a fucking robot, right? Like, how has it not changed over the years? I think genuinely the problem with today's society is the way kids are raised, right? To think that failing is bad, and that continues on into school, which is why I don't like it, right? Because it really merges together. They're two topics that connect.
Yeah,
And,
let's rewind and go back to topic. Vanessa runs a mobile DJ business. She said, it ain't about ratings. My job is about providing people value. And like we're talking here, value is the most important thing about business. Because if you're, alright, so as a mobile DJ business, right? If you're going out there and just handing out your card and shit like that to people, right? They're going to look at it and be like, oh, another DJ. They don't know anything about this person. But as she does, providing value is like the number one thing any business does, right? It shows people that you care about them. And when people see that, that's what brings them as a loyal customer. And I wanna add something in, right? I know Karam's here. I don't know if he still does this, but Karam he has his own electrician, right? So he used to provide free inspection or something like that? Am I right?
Right, yeah, free inspections, yeah.
Yeah, so that's like it's like $80. Like, let me know if I'm wrong. It's like $80 to $100 to inspect the house with the lighting and shit, yeah. But he was.
I don't really know, yeah.
Yeah, he let me know if I'm wrong in the comments, but he was doing it for free, so he was providing value to these people. And providing value is like important for any new startup, even if you're an existing business. That's really important to get new customers and shit.
That's it, and like I said, man, like I feel like 99% of, and like speaking serious topics now, like putting aside all the psychology behind this and people who are clinically diagnosed with depression, 99% of depression is rooted in not having a purpose in your life and being focused on this social idea that you're poor because you are where you are, right? And that it just comes from the quote, right? Like the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Like you hear that quote and you're like, well, I'm not rich, so I'm poor. Like there's not even a middle ground, right? Like there's not even a fucking middle ground in there. And like on Vanessa's point, like that's it, right? Like that's it. Like she's living what we're talking about. That when she goes to DJ at people's events and things like that, the fact that she can provide her art to viewers, right, and the value they get is from listening to it, then that's her money, that's her payment, right? The same way when you go help a homeless man and you see them smile, that's our payment back. We're not giving them money because we want to see them pay us back. We're giving them money because we want to see them happy and have value. Of course, like it doesn't always have to be money. In this circumstance, it's the exact same. Money passion and art and skill. It's the same thing, but people just don't see that nowadays.
No, they don't. And it's what do you call it? Like, it hurts to see that, but it's just how life has been, man. Like, everything's
That's it.
changed. Yeah.
So I know we pushed this episode a little bit longer, but I think we should wrap it up here. Save some content for the next
Hey,
episode.
hold up.
Yeah.
Corrupt's
Go for it.
first serious comment, bro.
Yeah.
He
All
said-
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll read it. 100% starting a business from scratch can be a struggle, and sacrifices must be made in order to grow. Sorry for the late response. No, you're good. Like,
100%.
yeah, and you know, like, I kind of didn't want to get on this topic because it's kind of for like one of next week's or tomorrow's topic.
We'll touch
But
onto it. We'll touch onto it next time.
We'll touch onto it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I think what you have to understand is, it's all about priorities in your life. Like, right now, I could list my priorities on a paper, and that's how I dedicate my time, which means that's where I dedicate my value, right? Because my time is valuable. You have to always keep that in your mind, by the way. Like, if you're running a business and you're not putting in your head that your time is valuable, then you're doing it wrong. Just saying that, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, having your priorities straight and knowing what you can sacrifice to achieve something higher on top of your priority, like on the top of your priorities, right? That's the most important thing, right? And like, obviously, like, this is something that we want to touch on in a different topic because, of course, it's kind of hard to link to rich get richer, poor get poorer. But yeah, sacrifice is so important. If you're not willing to sacrifice, and you know, everyone's heard the quote about living it is a whole different thing. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful, right?
I
And
like
I think
that.
that's just a beautiful quote that like outlines it.
I like that.
Yeah, and yeah, time is money. That's it. Like, man, when I used to hear the quote "time is money," it's the fucking rich cunts, bro. Like, why the fuck they took time is money, bro?
Yeah.
Like, what, bro? You pay for a clock or some shit, bro? Like, what's good? But it makes sense, right? Because like the valuable things in your life, it's all about what you dedicate your time to, right? And thank you so much, guys. And shout out Advanced Power Solutions on Facebook right now. Guys, go check it out. Best electrician in Australia. That's authorized by me, by the way, and I'm an electrical expert, as you can see. But yeah, it's so important that, you know, you understand your value in your life. Stop thinking that because you're not rich, you're poor, and stop putting yourself in these social constraints. You're like, fucking people that don't even know you have already made a decision on where you are in life, and you're allowing it by sitting down. Every day you wake up and you don't execute on what you want to do, then that means you're allowing everyone else to succeed over you, and that means you're allowing everyone else, right, to like kind of put a limit on you that you agree with. Like, you don't have to say it in words. You don't have to say, oh yeah, like I agree, like I'm a shit cunt. But the fact that you don't post that Instagram photo because you think someone else might laugh, the fact that you don't execute on that business because you don't think it may succeed, that's you undoubtedly admitting that you let other people's opinion take part in your life. You know what I mean? And that's the biggest problem. And also hit up DJ Nessa as well, best DJ, mobile DJ as well. Like, what a fucking business idea. I mean, most DJs are mobile, but at this time, mobile DJs will be popping the fuck off. So, yeah. So, I think we've gone a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, I know everyone wants to listen more, but we're gonna end it today here.
We're gonna end it here. We're gonna be here, like, guys, anywhere between, like, today we were supposed to start at 7, but, you know, Mark's mic took about 3 hours to fix, but that's okay.
Hey,
you know,
but
we're
now
talking about it.
everyone can hear me now, right? Everyone can hear me.
Yeah. You sound like you're speaking through like a tin can from Iraq. You know, like the old you know the old way people used to call. They used to get the tin cans with the string and put it on their ear. That's how you sound.
We
but
used
at
to
least
do
I
that
can
as
hear
kids as well, bro.
you. Yeah. At least I can hear you. Alright. I'm grateful about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so guys, thank you so much for all the love, likes, support, shares, and everything. Guys, on the bottom you can see our social medias. We post on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn. But really, if you want actual content that you could apply to your business, go check the LinkedIn, slide in our DMs. We give free advice. Always, right? Like, any type of advice you want, even if you're messaging us because you're depressed or whatever, like, we want to be there for every single small business owner, and that's because we've been through it and we want to help as many people go through it as well. Sometimes we're a bit harsh, but that's because we care for people and we want everyone to succeed. That's my main thing. Like, and let's end it on this. I want to see everyone do good, right? everyone, like, there's always that quote, everyone wants to see everyone do good, but never better than them. I don't give a fuck who does better than me, right? As long as I help them on the way. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care, right? If they got something through me and through this content, then that's what this amazing podcast is. And, yeah, so thank you so much. Mark, any closing comments?
I just want to say, subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we're gonna be posting stuff there that we don't post on Facebook, on all the other platforms. So it's in a way it's exclusive content. So check that out as well. And we just want to say, like, remember, stay rich in mind, and you'll make it to where you want to be. And don't be afraid to fail, please.
Yeah,
don't be afraid to fail.
Take those fucking risks.
Wake up every day with the mindset that you're gonna tell me if this is right, yeah?
Yeah.
Wake up every day with the mindset that you're gonna fail. So you're ready for it, like you're ready.
Let me double down on that. Double down on that. Yeah. Wake up every day like you don't know if there's a tomorrow. That's what I want to say.
I like that. That's it.
Wake up every day like you don't know if there's a tomorrow. So you execute anything you want to fucking do.
We're not saying go out and party. We're saying grind. Like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, don't party. We're in COVID. Alright, let me end it. We're sponsored by Centrum Vitamins. That's why I have a lot of energy. I take these vitamins. Yeah, so thanks for our sponsor. See you on the podcast tomorrow night, guys. Yeah, anywhere between 6 to 10 p.m. You gotta stay aware. We'll make posts about it. Peace out, and thanks for all the